They've collapsed two of his businesses within the space of a year. Reality of what it is like to make money, because it is not as easy as what you think. Some shop places you have to do 5 years in advance. Most people are good until they're not. Oh, well, you can go get government stamps. You can go sign on the dole. Ghana don't have no safety net. What if you are broke in Ghana? You are broke. That is it. No, it really is a roll of the dice when it comes to things like that. For a grown man to get on camera and cry with real tears, you know, one of the things that people do not like in Ghana is thieves. If you're a thief in Ghana and you get caught, woe betide you. Hey guys, welcome back. All right, today's video, okay, I want to share this video that my partner sent to me. I thought it was very interesting, and it kind of goes along with the previous video that I did, where I was talking about, you know, investing from afar if you're not here, and the different types of things that you can do. So this particular video is about a guy, and he basically set up shop in Ghana and was in the States. And I want you to listen to what happened, okay?
This is the reason why when people travel, they close all their businesses back home. Japan has taken all my phones from my shop. All my phones. When I returned to Ghana, and all the monies I made in America from the 11 months that I stayed here, I reinvested everything back into the shop. I bought phones. I bought new, used, everything. He has opened the safe and taken everything from my shop and ran away. This is why when people grow up to somewhere and they become some entrepreneurs, they are wicked, and then they treat their employees very terribly because people have given them bad history. People I work with, I treat them like they are king, I treat them like they are royalty. But look at how some of them pay you back. Everything. I only left Ghana for a year. All my 2 businesses are gone. My clothing store is gone. My food shop at this point, all my inventory is gone. This is why people travel and they close, and then you say that, oh, you come and reinvest back home. Invest back home for who? I have hustled since 2016. I have put in my grind. I have put in all the effort. I've had you to work with you, to teach you, to help you become somebody.
I find that to be a very, very interesting video because it's so painful for me to watch. And obviously you can see the pain. The guy's actually crying because he's tried to help. He's tried to help himself, and he's tried to help others, right? He's hired people and trained them so that they can also make money from his business. But instead of the, you know, being grateful that they have this opportunity, what's happened? They've rather shafted him and just taken all his stock and done whatever it is and used it for their own gain. They've collapsed 2 of his businesses within the space of a year. And that is wild, but it's not an uncommon story to hear, and it's just very, very unfortunate. And it happens to everybody, whether you're a foreigner or you're a Ghanaian or whatever. It can happen to you unless your reins are very, 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 very tight. Now, this is my view on it, right? I feel like when you are dealing with people who are hand to mouth, for lack of better words, it makes it difficult for them to be future focused, right? So they're not thinking about, okay, if I work in this position and, you know, the next time he comes back, you know, maybe he'll increase my pay, or maybe I can get a promotion somehow. Maybe, you know, I can become manager, you know. They're not thinking about these things. They're just thinking about, okay, well, I have an opportunity here. If I don't take this opportunity to do what I've got to do now, this opportunity may not present itself again. And so they live for the now. And so they just basically burn the bridge and do what they've got to do. The person has broken into his safe, taken all the phones that he has, and has gone with them. And he just, like, he has no stock left. You know what it's like even buying one phone, the struggle that you have to go through, right? Let alone buying enough to cater for a shop. That has got to be so painful. And it's experiences like this that are so unfortunate, because when many of us hear them, we're like, oh my gosh, I'm not even trying to get caught up in that mess. And it's such a shame because, you know, it's not that there aren't good people in Ghana that would look after the business. The problem with Ghana is that I always say you have to kiss a lot of toes before you get to the person that, you know, is going to help you on your way. And so that's the risk. But it's very, very unfortunate. And I definitely feel his pain in that. This is not the first story that I've heard of things like this happening. It can happen to anybody. And one of the issues that we have, why this happens, is because people believe that when you come from abroad, you have a way of making it back. And so they feel like, well, I have an opportunity to do this thing, and this is what it's going to do for me. This is my one opportunity to make some money. The thing is that the diaspora is seen that, well, you know, you have ways, you have a better opportunity than those in Ghana. So, you know, even if I've taken all your phones, I've cleared everything out, you know, you have to start your shop again. You can do it. You can do it because in the West, there is so many opportunities. Go get loan, my friend, go work some more hours, bring the money back, you can do it again. Like, that's the attitude that some people have. They really do believe that when you come from the West, you have the capacity to make money at your own will. It's easy to make money. And so therefore, when they take it from you, they don't feel like they're actually robbing a person. You know, they don't personalize it. So then the person's not necessarily going to sit down and think, oh my gosh, but my brother, if I take this thing from him now, you know, he's going to be, I've collapsed his business. How's he going to start again? They don't think of that. They just think of, well, you know, find another opportunity. You know, you're in the West. You have ample opportunities to remake that money. And so they depersonalize it to such an extent that I don't want to say that they don't care, but there is going to be a level of nonchalance about it. Like, the person fully knows what they did. They know that it was wrong. But this to them seems like their one opportunity to be able to better themselves. Now, the thing that is very interesting is when you have Ghanaians that go from Ghana and go to the West, right? They get the shock of their lives as to what it is like to actually have to fend for themselves and make money and see what it is like. I remember my cousin, when I was in the UK, my cousin came from Ghana, and he was like, he started working, and he used to have to get up. He was working in construction, so he used to have to get up at like 5 a.m. to get to work for 6 or something like that. And he'd have to get on the bus in the freezing cold, you know, all of that. When he got back to Ghana, he told everybody, please don't ask people for money because you don't know what they did to get that money. He understood the struggle of what it was like to be in the West and have to make money. You know, I don't know if the thing about Ghana is, right, like, if you can't pay some bill, you know, you can wrap them somehow, you know, like, they won't turn your lights off just like that. You maybe just give them a little something to keep the light on a little bit longer for you. You know, you can't do those things in the West. If you don't pay your electricity bill, you're going to be cut off. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there are certain things, you don't pay your rent, you're going to be thrown out. These other places, they feel like you know, you can wrap your way out of a lot of situations. So they don't associate it as in, well, you know, if this happens, this is the consequence. Like, he doesn't know, the person that took these phones doesn't know what effect this has on this person. He doesn't know what this person was using that money for. It doesn't mean because he's got a shop open here and he still works in the West that, you know, he's living large, that the money that he makes in Ghana is for him to drive around in a Benz. It doesn't mean that you don't know. He could have been using that money to support family. We don't know what it was for, but he started a business for something. And the person that took those phones doesn't know what those things are. And so it's very difficult, you know. So, as I was saying before, so when people go from Ghana and come to the West, right, they get the shock of their lives as to the reality of what it is like to make money, because it is not as easy as what you think. By the time they take tax from you, by the time you've paid your bills, the money that you're left with can sometimes be so small that you don't even know what you can even do with it. Most people have to have, nowadays, the way the economy has changed, right, most people have to have some type of side gig, some type of extra hustle to get them through, because one job will only cover the bills. And if they want to be able to afford, you know, going out every now and again and having a good time, they need to make some extra income. And one of the things I will say is when people even come from Ghana to the West, right, I know because I've been there before. In my household when I was younger, we always had people coming from Ghana to stay. There's always somebody, you have to give up your bedroom because so-and-so, uncle so-and-so, or auntie so-and-so is coming and they're going to stay in that room. So you have to pack out of your own room because they're coming to stay there. And you know they're coming to work. And so even though they even get that reality of what it's like to go to work, they don't have the full experience because really, for the most part, they're not really paying rent. And even if they are, it's some small substituted amount. They don't have like a really hard landing in that respect, right? they have somebody in the house who, you know, like whoever's home it is has gone and done shopping. You just come, maybe buy some one two edition, and then you make food, you know, like, I'm not saying that it's easy to transition from Ghana when you go to the West, but there is a level of a soft cushion, right? So you don't feel the full brunt of it. And if someone who comes from Ghana comes to the West and has that experience where they get a little bit of a soft landing, they still haven't experienced the full immersion. What's the word? Hey, I can't. My English is gone. They don't have the full. They're not fully immersed in what it's like to actually be on your own and have to cover all these bills and see what that's like. And so until they have that deeper experience, they don't really have a full understanding of what it takes for someone to actually have saved money to buy inventory, to then go to Ghana, to deal with all the systems to be able to open the shop, to have to pay rent. Because remember, even when you open a shop in Ghana, you're not paying month to month, you know. Some shop places you have to do 5 years in advance. So can you imagine putting down that bulk of money 5 years in advance to open up a shop that you don't even know is going to even be profitable yet? You have to put that money down. You have to make sure the place is kitted out if it's not ready kitted out. And when I say kitted out, I'm talking about light fittings. I'm making sure that there's electricity in it, because sometimes those are your responsibilities of the shop owner and not the person who's renting it to you. They'll give you the shell and it's for you. It's up to you to do everything else. So these are some of the things. And then not to mention the fact that you have to put inventory in it. And now you're paying staff as well. So it's like, the money that the person sees that or thinks that you're collecting from, you know, you sold a phone, now you made some 3,000 cedis or whatever. They see it as, hey, you made 3,000 cedis, but they don't think about all the other expenses that you had to come out of pocket for. The person that opened that shop has had to grind for years. He said he's been grinding since 2016. This video only just came out. We're now in 2025. It is not easy, especially if you've come from Ghana and you've gone there to make something of yourself. The way that you have to put your money together, the things that you miss out on, the grinding that you have to do, it's painful. Like, I really, really felt his pain. And it's unfortunate that such things happen. But it's like, how do we, as people from the diaspora, protect our assets when we are not there? This is why I was speaking about there's certain businesses that will be easier to run if you're not in the country. If you're not in Ghana, you can kind of have a hands-off approach and still make money without it collapsing your business. So I mentioned things like Airbnb, right? Or if you have an apartment to rent out, those things can be pretty much hands-off, because first of all, there's not an exchange of money every day that needs to happen, and any money that comes to you is going to be done some type of transaction online, right? So you're making sure that you get your money. All you need to do is hire somebody to make sure that they're cleaning well, make sure that, you know, the place is up to par, make sure certain things are in place. You know, there's not a lot of owners. There's not a need for you to be there daily in order for a business like that to work. But something like a phone shop is never going to be a good idea. No matter who you think you trust, no matter if you think it's a family friend, if it's, you know, somebody that maybe you've even worked with, but you just don't know, because you don't know what situations pop up for people, because most people are good until they're not, right? So what I mean by that is most people want to be honest until they're put into a position. So the person that took the phones, maybe their intention was to be good, and maybe their intention was to try to be the best in this shop. But maybe then they got backed into a corner financially and were like, look, this is my way out. Like, I need some fast money. So this is what I'm going to do. We don't know the full situation of it, but I'm saying these are things that can happen. And I'm not justifying the person who's taken the phones or closed down his other business as well. I'm not justifying that, but I'm saying this is what happens for many of us. If we are backed up into a corner, there's some things that we will do that we didn't think that we were capable of, just because it almost feels like life and death to us. And so I feel like when it comes to people in Ghana, they're a lot closer to that line, or they feel that they're a lot closer to that line than we are in the West. In the West, you know, they feel like we have certain safety nets. You know, oh, well, you can go get government stamps. You can go sign on the dole. You can go do this, you know, sign up for unemployment. The West is not going to let you starve. Whereas Ghana don't have no safety net. If you are broke in Ghana, you are broke. That is it. No one's coming to help you. Pick yourself up. That is it. And so that's how people kind of compare it. But So again, I say, if you want to start any type of business in Ghana, you have to make sure it's one that doesn't require your constant input, one that money doesn't necessarily have to be flowing all the time, and also that it doesn't rely on you necessarily holding inventory in that way, because your inventory will go missing. I know people who have restaurants, things will go missing, pots. I mean, you wouldn't even think that, why do you have to keep your eye on pots? But they will take pots. They will take they will take fish from the freezer and they will take it home to their families. They will do all these things. And so you always have to be one step ahead. So it is difficult to open a business from abroad if you're not going to be here. You kind of need to be on the ground. And even if you are on the ground for some time, you still need to very much, you need to be able to trust the person that you're leaving these things to. And honestly, I feel like although there are people who it has worked for where they've hired people and the business has gone fine, that's all good. But it really is a roll of the dice when it comes to things like that. So while Ghana it's great for being able to set up small shops like this and being able to produce money, all of that can be lost overnight if you have the wrong person. I know people that it's happened to. Like, I have stories that I'm not even going to share on camera because, it was a family thing, but, yeah. So, yeah, it kind of is one of those things where you have to be very, very careful. But, the guy's in pain. Like, this person doesn't realize the damage that they've done. For a grown man to get on camera and cry with real tears, you know that he is hurt. He has to basically start from ground zero. His grind from 2016 has to be reignited. He has to do it all again. And I'm pretty sure he's not going to open this shop again. And one of the things he said in the video is that he understands why people can be wicked. How when people become entrepreneurs, they can be wicked. And I don't even think it's that. I wouldn't even say it's being wicked. I don't think it's fair to say that they want to be wicked. They just know better because they've been stung. Because I'm sure for him, if he was to open the shop again, he's going to close that shop anytime he leaves and goes back to the States, because it's not worth him leaving it open and having all that inventory taken. The risk is too high. He has learned from his mistakes. And this is one of the reasons that I say that we should share experiences, right? Because when we share experiences with each other, we then are able to protect the next person. People then see like, oh, this is what happens to this person. So you make sure you don't fall into the same entrapment, if I can say that, right? So we have to talk about these things. Yes, it's horrible when you get scammed, when you lose money, when all these things happen to you. It's not nice. And, when you come out on social media, the way social media is now, you come out and say something has happened to you, everybody says, oh, but you're a fool. Didn't you know, this, that, and the other. Okay, I didn't know. Nobody's speaking up about it. No one's talking about these things that happen because we want to sweep it under the carpet and pretend it didn't happen because it's too embarrassing. But the only reason to prevent these things is to actually talk about it and is to expose people that do that. I'm not being funny. Like, when I looked at the comment section on this video, people were like, where's the person's face? Put the person's face there. Like, put their details so that everybody can be and look at this person. Because in Ghana, that's one of the things. One of the things that people do not like in Ghana is thieves. If you're a thief in Ghana and you get caught, woe betide you. It is a problem because that everybody takes it personally. That did not happen to one person, that happened to everybody. And so, anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys think about this video. This is just one that popped up on my screen and I thought it'd be really interesting to share because having done the previous video, it kind of like followed on as to why there's certain businesses you just shouldn't open up in Ghana if you are not going to be on the ground or if you don't have someone you can trust 100% with your goods, so let me know in the comment section what you think about the video. Let me know any stories, anything that's happened to you along those lines. Let me know what you've learned. I've been reading your comments from the previous video and I find it very interesting, especially around the whole farming thing and why you think that you can farm certain things and not others. Maybe we can have some more discussion about that. Actually, maybe I might do a live. I'm saying that, but I might not do a live. I might do a live, but I might not do a live. I don't know. We'll see what kind of mood I'm in. If I can, open myself up to a live, we'll see. But anyway, If you are interested in moving to Ghana and you would like to do a one-to-one consultation with me, send me an email to dela@moretodela.com and we can sort out a time from there. That's the end of today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment and share this video. Until next time, I am out.